Oops. So welcome everybody. It's so nice to see you all again. So I'm back in the country. Back in my own little clinic again in England. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about non-dual reward. And that's a difficult one because the non-dual reward as a quality is so often corrupted in a way that we kind of looking for a reward outside ourselves. Working hard, trying to do things right, uh, trying to succeed, trying to lead a good life. Because if we lead a good life at a certain moment, the reward will come. Maybe by going to heaven. Maybe that only good things will happen in our lives. Maybe that we are protected by God, that no harm will come to us or our family. All of that is reward. And it would be so beautiful if we were able to kind of, by our behavior or by praying or holding religious laws, that no harm would come to us. But sadly enough, it is not like that. So when we look at it, there is also a cruelty in it because, if we are part of a group who is believing that, if we behave good and everything is perfect with us and we are there for others and whatever rules there are, that no harm will come to us, neither to our family, and harm is coming to us. So often, then people from this group are looking at us as if there is something wrong with us because harm came to us. And then not only harm is coming to us in our life, but also harm is coming to us in a way that we get socially isolated. With kind of the feeling projected on us that we did something wrong. And that's kind of horrible and quite cruel. So if reward is not coming from the outside, the unconditional reward, the non-dual reward, so it has to come from the inside. And not in the form that, we get very rich. Because again, this is from the outside. Or we win the lottery. Or everybody is praising us about how great we are. It's not like that. But it is a deep inner feeling of reward. And this inner feeling of reward, when we kind of look to this unconditional quality of inner feeling of reward. So when is this coming forward? And what does it look like? Because, what is an inner feeling of reward? So it looks, it's close to the feeling of fulfillment. The feeling that things are right with us. Or the feeling that everything is falling in its right place in the right moment. It's also connected with a feeling or an experience of happiness or bliss. And not that bliss is the reward, because that's different again. It's not a thing which is the reward, neither the feeling of happiness, which is the reward. But it comes together with these feelings. It's a good feeling. And so often this feeling is coming forward when we kind of move through some difficulties. And in moving through these difficulties, we are loyal to our true nature. This is so important. And then at a certain moment, even if it finishes in disaster, the outcome is not what you expected or what you hoped. Still, there is this feeling of reward. And this feeling of reward is so much between you and you. Nothing to do with outer authority. Nothing to do with praise, which comes from the outside. You did great. And sometimes, when we get praised, it's really also interfering with this feeling of inner reward. It seems, not in its place. It feels like, another person is taking authority over your own process. And of course, it's very nice when it's seen that you kind of, worked hard or expressed something which is really important to you or went through a difficult period. Or you're just yourself, naturally, your true nature. All of this is rewarding from the inside. But when this praise is coming from the outside, it's as if an outer authority is telling you that you are right. And that is as damaging or as superficial as when an outer authority says you're wrong or is punishing you. And also that happens sometimes. That you follow your inner lead and, it's absolutely right. But from outside, people don't understand, or they see it differently, or there's a different belief, or a different. And there is a punishment. There's this beautiful story of the Bar Shem Tov. The story in which, on Shabbat, when basically it's the day of rest, you don't do anything. But then somebody was ill in a neighboring village, and he was a doctor. So he jumped on his horse and went to the neighboring village. And the people in his village who were religious kind of says, okay, you will be punished by God. It is Shabbat. This is not right to do this. And then he says, my reward is from inside, not from outside. This feels right. So I can only follow my inside guidance. And this also comes with reward. That when you follow this inside guidance, the deeper beliefs, your own ethics, above, rules which are put upon you by authority, there is this deep feeling of inner reward. And that's important. That's so important because, even if nobody agrees with it, you are connected with yourself, with your true nature. And there is something when you deep in your true nature, which is kind of amazing in this whole area of praise and punishment. It doesn't matter if you are praised, it doesn't matter or if you are punished. There is something which is not affected by outside authority. And that brings again also forward another non-dual quality, the quality of author, the quality in which you are your own author. And there is a reward in that. A reward which is connected with truth, connected with naturalness, connected with being, connected with existence. All of this is coming forward as non-dual qualities. And so often, we've been talking about non-dual qualities and brought forward, if you trigger one non-dual quality, other qualities are activated by themselves. If you move from one non-dual quality, other qualities are coming forward. For instance, when we kind of move into the peace meditation, it's very difficult to separate peace from love. If we make a deep connection with peace, our heart opens up. And automatically there is some love and there is some care. All of this kind of is activated. So when we look to the non-dual quality of reward, a whole load of non-dual qualities are activated. And that's the reward. So it's not a prize you win. It's not, that you did something good from the outside authority. It's just that you expressed or did what is from the depth of yourself needed. It's not even good or bad. It's right. And not from the right or wrong, but it's a deeper right, the feeling, yes, this is natural. This is natural to me. And this can be very, very simple things. The old example that an old lady is standing at the zebra and wanted to cross the road, and she's insecure, and you kind of see it, and you take her by the arm and you help her to the other side. And then you're at the other side, and then she says, "I didn't need to go to the other side." I was just looking at the traffic. And still, there is this feeling of reward in the depth. Although more superficial, you could think, okay, that was not very smart. I should have asked her. But it was a movement which came natural, and it's a movement which feels good. So again, the outcome is not that important. So in this, I'm not kind of, telling you that for your happiness, you have to kind of drag old ladies on the other side of the street. That's because that would again be a prize we win. And it's not about the prize we win. It's not about kind of, it's really not about that. It's really the opportunity to follow your own true nature, which is rewarding. And it's unconditionally rewarding. And that's sometimes so difficult to grasp because, if it's rewarding, so, what is the price? What is what you get? Because, when we talk about reward, we need to win something. And maybe there is no price, and maybe we get nothing from it. Only this sense of reward, and which comes so close to gratitude. And so close to gratitude when we look into it, because the reward is in the possibility that you were able to express, or possibility that you were able to act, or the possibility that you were able to receive. On the level of true nature. And that's not always possible. That's not always possible for ourselves, and that's not always possible for everybody. So when there is a window that this is coming forward, it's incredibly rewarding. And this is the same when we kind of move on our pathway of meditation or inner growth inwards. I can remember that at a certain moment, after I think years of meditation, I hit the jackpot in my eyes at that moment. And a little miracle happened. I kind of moved into stillness. And not by the hard work. And not because I meditated for years and stillness was my reward. But to move into stillness, to come home in this area inside myself, and this deep feeling of homecoming behind a lot of fights and inner conflicts. At once it was still and it was peaceful. And this whole experience was so rewarding and so essential and so important to me that this was possible. That I kind of immediately, a second thought came to me, okay, I need to share this with others. And that has been the basis of my teaching. Because this possibility to be out of conflict, this possibility to kind of, to move back in a deep way to our own true nature is amazing and rewarding in itself. But not the price you win. Although sometimes it is seen like this. I remember that years ago, I went to an interview about the ISSP together with Hansen. And this was a kind of an interviewer who was also working on himself, was for a spiritual kind of magazine. And we came there, and he didn't take any interview. He had kind of an experience with his teacher, and he was full of his experience, which is understandable. So we came in, and he says to us, I'm there. So I have nothing to ask. But it was an interview for a magazine, so it was not about him. But he was there. And where was he? I asked questions to find out, where are you? And he says, I'm pure awareness. So, and of course, he totally took it as a reward. He now was okay. He was somewhere. He worked hard on himself and he kind of got this experience and was holding on to this experience of pure awareness. And because he was pure awareness, he was superior. He didn't need to interview anybody anymore. And the only one kind of, had the truth was himself. So he could write about himself. So why did he let us come then for this interview? So this was kind of, for me, really kind of a lesson in humility. And kind of, looking at wow. So if we kind of are so deeply into praise and punishment, into good and bad, if we are so harmed in the non-dual quality reward, and so deep into this kind of, corruption of the feeling of reward, we can become easily grandiose. You're the best, and we know what we do with the rest. So that's not really what reward is about. Not at all. And that's not where this rewarding experiences are about. These moments that we are pure awareness, these moments that we are in stillness, these moments that we fall together, coming home in our true nature and our true self. This is bliss, not a reward in the form of, it comes to you because you work so hard on yourself. But it is in itself extremely rewarding as a feeling. Unconditional, rewarding to it is what it is. And even, when I try to talk about reward and try to explain reward, so easily when I listen to myself, I see that it's almost coupled on a reward. And it's not. It's really in the depth, the sense of reward. Loose from any reward, any praise, any punishment, anything. And often, at least in my life, when I touch that feeling, immediately there is this kind of need almost to share it with the world, to share it with the universe. And not to reward the world, not to reward other people, but just to share the incredible preciousness of it. And that's maybe the deepest reward of all, the incredible preciousness of life. And again, not as a prize, but as an experience. Okay, I would like to leave it like this. And we have a 5 minutes break. And after 5 minutes, we have a beautiful guided meditation of Georgi.
Okay, let's organize a little bit. So welcome back, everybody. So the non-dual reward in us greets the non-dual reward in you. So let's find a rewarding position, which is comfortable and where the body feels easily supported so that we can meditate together. And maybe as we begin to bring our attention into the inner world, we can open up the felt sense to what this is, this sense of reward. How do we know it? If you could connect for a moment with the light around you in the room, the light which is touching your body, your skin. Just allow the possibility that there is a transmission of reward together with the light. To allow the sense of reward to be there wherever there is light inside or outside of yourself. Let this light move through the field of experience, from above you to the level of the mind and head and shoulders. Allowing the sense of reward in the light to be around the chest area. Even to feel the light at your back. Maybe you can allow now the light in the room to connect with the light within the pelvic area, the bases of the body. The light in the legs and feet. And the light in the earth. Maybe now you can connect with the felt sense of the air in the room. The temperature of the air in the room or in the space around you. And just imagine or allow that wherever this air touches the skin surface, there is a transmission of reward. The sense of reward of being able to be touched is awakening. Just notice the air on your face, forehead. The air on your neck. The air on your arms and hands. And the air on your ankles and feet. Now I'd like you to move inside, deeper inside yourself. And if you can, make a connection with a higher power, or a God, or the universe. We're opening up the connection from the depth of ourselves, the consciousness inside ourselves, to a greater consciousness out there. Just allow yourself to feel how it is to be connected. What's the atmosphere of that connection? We're feeling into the relationship between the light inside ourselves and the great big light outside of ourselves. Just let yourself be aware and notice any information which is there in the connection. What is being transmitted? And now I'd like you to remember a time in your life where you experienced the sense of being punished, the atmosphere of punishment. Just relax the body, knowing that you're able to allow this contemplation of the sensation of punishment. Notice how your body responds. Any response in the body to this energy of punishment. Notice any emotional reactions. Notice what's happening with your thinking and thoughts and beliefs. Maybe there is some way that you can relate to the feeling of being punished by the greater light, by God, by the universe. How would that feel? Just let yourself for a little while receive that experience. Now I'd like you to recall a time where you felt that somebody else, something else should be punished. How it feels to be the one that delivers punishment. To be the punisher. Let yourself be curious as to how that feels. And is there some place or some way that you might feel yourself to be punishing the universe or punishing the higher power or God? How would that show up? Now I'd like you to regress back to a time when you were praised, when you received praise. And just notice how it is to feel that energy of praise coming towards you. Notice how the physical body is reacting. Notice any emotional response to this praising energy. Notice how your mind or your thoughts respond to this praising energy. And how would it be if the whole universe or the higher power or God were to be praising you? How would you be affected? And now perhaps you can regress to a time where you felt a need to praise another human being. How was it to let this praising energy move through you towards the other? We're connecting with the felt sense of praise now. And how would it be to allow the felt sense of praise to move towards a higher power, towards God or the greater light? Just notice how your system responds as this praise moves through. Now I'd like you to connect to the light, the vibration of light deep within yourself, which contains the sense of reward. The sense of reward at being able to experience all this. We're moving, leaning back into, and dissolving into the reward of being just as you are. The sense of reward within, the evidence of your being here now. What kind of light is that? The light which emanates this sense of reward. Maybe you could allow this light to shine wherever it shines, unconditionally shining now through the whole physical body and the whole field of experience into the world, letting it shine, letting it be itself. Letting yourself merge with this light of reward. And the more you merge with this light of reward, the more the physical body seems to fall away. As we're moving forward now, we're moving forward through the coming years, moving forward through the end of our lives. We're moving forward to that space after we have died. Free now of any restrictions. And just imagine for a moment how it would be to be received by the greater light with this sense of reward. This greater light is saying, well done for the life that you've lived. Well done for all that you felt. Well done for all that you have been. Well done for this aliveness. Let yourself dissolve into this sense of greater reward, knowing that it's completely okay now, utterly okay. Maybe you can share your own sense of reward with this reward. Letting this light be totally free now. You feel yourself now being drawn back into the deep relaxation of your physical body, which is absorbing this light now through the skin surface, into the tissue and blood and bones, into all these empty spaces, receiving that sense of reward now. And sharing it with the whole physical dimension. Okay, as we gradually come back to the here and now, it's time to say goodbye to the people watching on the live stream. Thank you for joining us, and next time join us in the Zoom room as well, so that you can join in the Q&A and the sharing and the peace meditation. But for now, we say bye. We'll be back here next Wednesday with another aspect of true nature. So bye.